The screen opens with a slow fade into the grand stage of America's Got Talent 2025. The lights shimmer, the crowd roars with excitement, and the iconic AGT logo spins behind Simon Cowell and the other judges. The stage has seen countless performers, but tonight will be different. Tonight, something no one expects is about to unfold. The camera zooms toward the judges' panel. Simon Cowell leans forward slightly, his sharp eyes scanning the stage. Beside him, Heidi Klum and Howie Mandel are laughing about a previous act, while Sofia Vergara adjusts her microphone. The energy in the room is electric, buzzing with anticipation. The host walks out from backstage, his voice booming through the arena as he speaks into the mic with infectious excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is a performer all the way from the Philippines. He's only 14 years old, and what he's about to do might just be the most unforgettable performance of the season. Please welcome, Joshua Cruz. The lights dim, and from the side of the stage, a thin, quiet boy steps out. He's wearing a simple white shirt tucked into slightly oversized pants. His hands are shaking, but his eyes burn with a strange mix of faith, courage, and emotion. The crowd immediately softens, some even whispering, "He looks so young." Joshua walks toward the microphone stand in the center of the stage. The host gives him a quick pat on the shoulder and whispers something encouraging before stepping aside. Simon raises his brow slightly. There's something different about this boy, something he can't quite place. Simon leans toward the mic and asks, "Hello, what's your name and where are you from?" Joshua's voice trembles slightly as he answers, "My name is Joshua Cruz, I'm from Cebu City, Philippines." The crowd cheers at the mention of his home country. Simon smiles faintly. "How old are you, Joshua?" "I'm 14, Joshua replies. Heidi says softly, "You look nervous, Joshua. But we're all rooting for you." Joshua nods. Then Simon leans in again and asks, "And what are you going to do for us tonight?" Joshua takes a deep breath. "I'm going to sing a song. It's a song that, people say, the devil wrote, but tonight, I want to sing it for God." The entire arena goes silent. Even Simon sits back in surprise, his face tightening just a little as if he didn't quite hear correctly. The host, from the side of the stage, looks equally stunned. Howie Mandel breaks the silence with a curious smile. "Wait, what? A song the devil wrote?" Joshua nods again, his hands gripping the mic. "Yes, but I believe no song belongs to evil when you sing it with faith." Simon freezes for a moment. He wasn't expecting that. The crowd murmurs. There's tension in the air, a strange mixture of shock, curiosity, and awe. Simon clears his throat. "All right, Joshua, whenever you're ready." The lights dim to a single spotlight over Joshua. A soft acoustic guitar begins to play, but it's not your usual cheerful tune. It's the opening notes to a hauntingly famous rock ballad known for its dark legend. The camera pans to the crowd, who recognize the melody almost immediately. Gasps echo through the room. Joshua closes his eyes, whispers a short prayer under his breath, and begins to sing. His voice is crystal clear, soft at first, then building with each note. He doesn't just sing the lyrics, he transforms them. What was once a song wrapped in darkness now sounds like a hymn, a cry from the soul. The judges exchange glances. Heidi places her hand over her heart. Howie leans closer to the edge of his seat. Sofia whispers, "Oh my God." As Joshua's voice rises, something powerful happens in the room. The audience grows silent, completely captivated. His voice fills every corner of the theater, echoing with emotion. Breaking through language and cultural barriers. He hits a high note with such purity that several people in the crowd tear up. Simon Cowell, who is known for being one of the toughest judges in the world, doesn't move. His eyes are locked on Joshua. The cameras zoom in on Simon's face. His jaw is slightly clenched, his eyes glimmering with something between shock and deep respect. The chorus hits, and Joshua lifts his arms slightly as if surrendering everything he is to the song. The band picks up softly behind him, but it's clear he doesn't need them. His voice alone is commanding the stage. The lyrics that once carried a sinister reputation now sound like a prayer. A redemption. The crowd slowly begins to rise to their feet, some with hands raised as if in worship. When Joshua reaches the bridge of the song, something happens that nobody expected. The massive LED screen behind him flashes white light. Fog machines release a gentle cloud that wraps around his feet. His voice grows stronger, breaking through every wall of fear. Simon Cowell leans forward suddenly. He isn't just impressed. He's completely frozen, transfixed by the rawness and purity of this moment. The final note arrives. Joshua holds it longer than anyone thought possible, his entire body shaking with the effort. The lights explode into gold and white, and then silence. For a moment, the world stops. Then, without warning, the entire audience erupts into the loudest applause of the night. People are screaming, crying, cheering. Heidi stands first, followed by Heidi and Sofia. All three judges are on their feet, giving Joshua a standing ovation. But Simon doesn't move. He's still staring at Joshua, his expression unreadable. The camera zooms in again. Slowly, Simon rises to his feet. The crowd grows even louder. Joshua stands there, tears streaming down his face, overwhelmed by the love pouring from every direction. Howie grabs his mic. Joshua, I've been here a long time, and I have never seen anything like that. You didn't just sing a song. You changed it. You took something dark and turned it into something holy. Heidi is next. Joshua, your voice is pure, your faith is pure, and your heart, everyone felt that. That was one of the most emotional performances I've ever witnessed. Sofia leans toward the mic, her voice trembling. You are a miracle. That's the only way to describe it. A miracle. Finally, Simon leans into his microphone. His voice is low, calm, but with weight. Joshua, I've heard thousands of singers. I've seen people try to shock us, impress us, make us cry, make us stand. But what you just did, you made me stop. Completely. You froze me in my seat. That's never happened before. The crowd roars again. Simon continues. I don't know what people believe about this song. But I do know one thing. Tonight, you owned it. You took it away from darkness and gave it light. And for that, I thank you. Tears fill Joshua's eyes as the crowd chants his name. Joshua. 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 The golden buzzer is sitting right in front of Simon. The audience starts whispering, then chanting louder. Golden buzzer. Golden buzzer. Golden buzzer. Simon looks down at the button, then back at Joshua. He smiles faintly, then slams his hand down. The entire theater explodes with gold confetti. The music swells, the crowd goes wild. Joshua collapses to his knees, hands over his face, sobbing with joy. The host runs out from the wings and hugs him tightly as the confetti rains down. Simon stands, still staring at him. He's seen stars, legends, icons, but this moment, he knows, is special. This isn't just a performance. It's a story the world will remember. Joshua is lifted by the host, tears still running down his cheeks. His mother, watching from backstage, is crying uncontrollably. The camera cuts to her as she clasps her hands to her mouth, whispering prayers of gratitude. Back on stage, Simon walks up to Joshua, something he rarely does. He places a hand on the boy's shoulder and says quietly, "You are going to change the world, Joshua." The crowd roars again. The lights fade slowly as Joshua is surrounded by golden light, confetti swirling like a halo. This is the kind of moment that makes AGT legendary. A poor Christian boy from Cebu, singing a song said to be written by the devil, turning it into a prayer that shook the world. As the screen slowly transitions to the backstage interview, the host says, "Ladies and gentlemen, that was Joshua Cruz. Remember this name." Backstage, Joshua is still crying, his voice shaking as he talks to the camera. "I was so scared, but I told God, use me. If you want me to sing, I'll sing. Even if it's a dark song, I'll make it for you." The interviewer smiles and says, "You just made history out there." The next shot shows clips of people in the audience wiping their tears, fans holding up signs, and Simon quietly walking off stage, still deep in thought. A voiceover from the channel plays over the recap. Sometimes, it's not about the song. It's about the heart behind the voice. What Joshua did tonight was more than talent. It was faith, it was courage, and it reminded the world that light always wins. The screen shows a replay of Simon hitting the golden buzzer in slow motion. The confetti, the tears, the shock. The camera fades back to the channel's voice. If you felt something tonight, Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring stories, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a moment like this. Because some stories change everything. The outro shows a short montage of Joshua's performance set to uplifting music, golden confetti falling in slow motion, Simon looking stunned, and the crowd cheering his name over and over again. Then the screen fades to black. But the story doesn't end there. Joshua's audition would go on to be shared around the world. Millions would watch and rewatch it. Pastors would talk about it in sermons. Fans would call him the boy who turned darkness into light. People who had never even watched AGT before would cry as they saw his pure faith on stage. Joshua's life back in Cebu was simple. He grew up in a small church community. His father was a carpenter, his mother a vendor at the local market. He spent most of his childhood singing in the church choir, his voice echoing through the dusty wooden walls of their tiny chapel. When the producers discovered his online videos, they knew he had something special. But no one, not even they, expected what would happen on that stage. The day after the audition aired, Joshua became an international sensation. News outlets around the world ran headlines like, 14-year-old Filipino boy brings Simon Cowell to silence, and, the song the devil wrote redeemed by the voice of an angel. People flooded social media with messages. Some said they had never cried so hard watching AGT. Others said they felt hope for the first time in years. Musicians, pastors, celebrities, and ordinary people shared the clip. But for Joshua, nothing changed inside. He still prayed every night. He still called his mom first thing in the morning. He still thanked God for everything. A week later, Joshua returned to the AGT stage for his semifinals. The crowd chanted his name before he even sang a note. The judges couldn't stop smiling. Simon, who rarely shows too much emotion, told him, "Joshua, last time, you made me speechless. Tonight, I just want to listen again." And when Joshua opened his mouth to sing again, the magic returned. The world watched as this boy from the Philippines continued to turn every note into light. Months later, Joshua stood in the finals. He didn't just sing, he testified with his voice. And when the votes came in, he became one of the youngest winners in AGT history. Simon Cowell, standing beside him during the finale, said into the microphone, "I've never met anyone like Joshua." He reminds us why this show exists. To find the voices the world needs to hear. And so, the story of a Filipino Christian boy singing a song said to be written by the devil became one of the most unforgettable moments in talent show history. The screen fades to a final message. Light shines brightest where darkness once ruled. The outro music swells as the channel's closing line echoes. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share this story, and remember, faith can turn even the darkest song into a symphony of hope.